Well, good morning and welcome to the trade setup right here on BloombergQuint Live. I'm Niraj Shah, and it's deceptive the way the markets and the US futures are behaving versus how we could do. So let's lay it out all, because there are a bunch of stocks as well which we need to focus on today, which I think I want to spend a little bit of time on. So let's get to the macros very quickly first. So pull up what the US markets did in Friday's session. Keep in mind, while they were okay, the futures aren't exactly gung-ho. They were slightly quiet, the US futures, when I last saw them. So therefore, the global cues and the way Asia started off as well, it isn't looking like very, very robust, I must say. So you have to bear that in mind, that while the green on the screen is evident in the US markets in Friday, Asia today is not quite mirroring that. At least Nikkei wasn't. Now, HSI, KOSPI, ASX, etc. would have different hues too, and the SGX Nifty, the last message that I got and the last time I checked, was actually looking slightly different. But yeah, it's an interesting morning of trade, if you will. So look at this. Hang Seng, Nikkei is down about 0.25%. Hang Seng is up 1.5%. KOSPI about 0.5% odd, so that is also doing okay for itself. And the SGX Nifty was clocking above the 12,000 mark at one point of time early morning today. So if indeed we do that, then it's probably courtesy banks, I would reckon, as a result of which we could be doing that. So of course the start may be one, and we may do something else during the course of the day. But yeah, even as of now, it's knocking on the doors of 12,000. Let's wait and watch how this shapes up. Incidentally, Donald Trump has said that he's all okay. His physicians have told him that he's now no longer somebody who can even transmit the virus. So he's back to winning ways in his mind, of course. And therefore, that is interesting. Look at this tweet. Thanks to the priest for pulling it up. He's saying I'm an invincible hero who not only survived every dirty trick, but the virus as well. So, well, let's wait and watch how this shapes up. It'll be interesting, that trading day today in the US. How about our markets? Well, there is a belief that because of the impact analysis done by certain brokerages on the H-1B visa rules, IT may not have as great a day, even though we start off okay. So the trade setup really is looking at a start about 12,000, looking at the momentum continuing. And if we indeed cross 12182, then the Nifty will turn positive for 2020. Can you believe this? We had the worst fall in years at the start of March, or in March and April. And then it's taken us 6 months and we are back to being in the positive territory for our markets. That's quite stunning, really, if indeed we do that. I think IT and banking stocks will dominate trade patterns for this week, simply because, one, Bank Nifty's got a bit of a pickup behind it, and IT for more reasons than one. Of course, there are a clutch of results that are slated to come out this week in the information technology space, and therefore we'll watch out for Wipro tomorrow, we'll watch out for Infosys day after, we'll watch out for Mindtree and HCL Tech on the following days. And we have a couple of banking results as well. But in today's session, maybe IT, because of this whole belief that the H-1B visa rules which are being spoken about, and I think Kotak Securities has come out with a note saying that this will have an EPS impact. You never know, IT might have a slightly iffy morning today. But let's wait and watch. It's such a strong sector per se. It's very difficult to figure or fathom that IT will have a bad start. Let's wait and watch. If that happens on a day, then the index also looks like starting off okay. So in light of all of this, what are the stocks that one is watching out for? I don't even need to tell you that Vedanta could be the stock of the day, because the delisting has failed. The stock is likely to be under pressure today. The interesting thing is, I've used one brokerage. Some of the others have slightly different views. But the CLSA view on Vedanta is that maybe this is priced in. They are maintaining the outperform rating. They've reduced the target price to 118 from 133. They are saying that the concerns over capital allocation will overshadow operational performance, and the stock price hinges on the next step of the promoters and management. Now, can they do something else which will shore up even remote bit of confidence? That remains to be seen. By the way, viewers, keep in mind that I think there's an article that we've written on BloombergQuint as well, which speaks about this delisting failure is not entirely on the shoulders of the management, really. Some of it also has to do with the rules and regulations within the country, and are there systemic gaps which need to be addressed. I think you all should read this article from Sajid Mangat, my colleague, and the larger piece being that, therefore, could the fall in Vedanta be cushioned? You also have to keep in mind, viewers, that as much as people would be bearish on Vedanta, and there is every reason to be, But and I've heard so many people say that, oh, the stock will go back down to those 87 levels. When Vedanta was at 87, when they announced the delisting, the Nifty was sub 10,000, probably sub 9,000. Since then, the indices have moved up. Since then, the metal stocks have moved up. It also will now stand to gain from the pass-through of the dividend that Hindustan Zinc will announce or has announced. And therefore, all of those factors need to be kept in mind before you take a call on punting Vedanta. Just keep that at the back of your mind. It may not be as simple a short if it starts off lower. So please be careful if you're trading Vedanta. Shilpa Medicare, this one should have a slightly iffy day, and days when almost everybody believed that Indian pharma will not necessarily face the rough end of the stick because we are becoming suppliers to the world. Shilpa Medicare Telangana unit has got a warning letter from the US FDA. The company has, of course, said that it's committed to resolve the issue at the earliest, but I would reckon that Shilpa Medicare will have a slam dunk start on open. So let's wait and watch what happens here. Federal Mughal Gets. Now, that is the other one which will have a tough start today. This is to comply with the shareholding norms, I presume. But the promoter, which is an entity led by Carl Icahn, is planning to sell close to 22% stake to the OFS route. The floor price at 342 is nearly a 21% discount to the current market price. So Federal Mughal will have a start which is rough. The question is, will people, smart money, look to lap it up at lower levels? I don't know. Please don't think that I'm saying that smart money will do it. All I'm saying is you have an hour until the markets start. Go out, read a bit about the valuations, try and read some old reports about Federal Mughal, and then take a call on whether or not you want to go out and buy it at those levels, because this is a compulsion, regulation-led move that the promoters have to do, because of which they are selling such a large stake. Let's wait and watch how it shapes up. AI Engineering could actually have a positive start today. The dispute with Magatov has been permanently resolved without any kind of future litigation issues. That's the key thing. There are two key positives here for AI Engineering, that this dispute has been resolved, and they have said in the release that there will not be any future litigations over this. So that removes future overhang. The settlement does not involve any financial outgo on AI's part. So that's the other bit, that they've resolved a settlement without any issues. The dispute was over a patent infringement, which has now been resolved. So I think this is a key overhang gone on AI Engineering. Nomura report believes so as well. Maybe this one could have a positive start. Dr. Lal Path Labs, they've clarified that the data breach of patients involved less than 0.5% of the total record. So yes, there was a data breach, but it's not that millions and millions of data has been leaked. And the breach was due to misconfiguration in one web application. They are calling it a minor. We are just calling it what the web application was, and they are saying that the issue has been resolved. Remember, the report on Saturday had revealed that millions of patients' data was, including COVID-19 tests, had been exposed. The stock has corrected for the last couple of days. We might actually have a bit of a relief move for the stock as well. Let's wait and watch. And Bansali Engineering and Polymers is the other one. The sales, they released the results on Sunday. Sales at 308 crores. Margins at 15%, which is 11-quarter high. PAT at 35 crores. It's a stock that got beaten on brutally, I might add. Can these results restore a bit of confidence? I don't know. The stock was active in Friday's session. Remember that. Has gained quite a bit already. So the question is whether all of this is in the price. Last but not the least, City Cable and Z Entertainment. City Cable has defaulted on loans. So yeah, City Cable has defaulted on loans worth 400 crores. I think there is a note which says that Z may have to take an additional write-off and discontinue the revenue recognition from City. Mind you, Z's receivables from Dish and City, as I read out, stood at about 815 crores. And if indeed Z cannot recognize the revenues because auditors may not allow it, it's a big blow for Z as well. So both City Cable, which is a listed stock, and Z Entertainment could be under pressure. So do watch out for those as well in the session today. So the usual suspects like Vedanta may not be as slam dunks or as big losers as some of the others might be. However, losses there could be for some of those. But do watch out for IT. That's really the big one that you need to monitor for the rest of the week, and maybe even banking. Thanks so much for tuning in today.